Welcome to the Melrose vest. This is part 2. We're now going to work the hem of the garment, which is worked in Tunisian reverse stitch. So we've done the setup row in part 1, and so we did our chains. We picked up the chains from the wrong side, and you've done your return pass here. We're now ready to work our TRS in each stitch to end. So once you've done your return pass, it's quite important to open up those boxes you've made above the line of chains. What I tend to do is just take the hook out and simply open these up. It will be easier for you to work in these. Now let's have a look at what these stitches look like. As you can see, we've got those boxes there. These are created every time you work a return pass. You will end up with these above the row below. These, you can see, we've got those vertical bars there. For each vertical bar that we've got at the front, there is another one behind it. That is at the back there. That's what I call the twin. We've got a vertical bar at the front, and we've also got a vertical bar at the back. The one at the back is actually easier to see if you flip the work this way. There it is. This is where we're going to be working for Tunisian reverse stitch. So it's called reverse stitch because we're actually going to be working on the reverse side of our work. Instead of working this way, it's actually easier if we just work this way, because now we can see where we need to insert our hook. So to get started, put your hook back in starting position. Now in Tunisian crochet, the loop that is already on your hook at the end of a return pass, you end up with one loop. This loop will always count as your first stitch in Tunisian crochet. So it means that if you see that, the vertical strands that we've got here, the front one and its twin at the back, it's already occupied. Stitch 1 is already in place. So you're always going to start your forward pass at stitch number 2, because stitch number 1 is already on your hook. So to make it easier to see, just reverse, flip your work so that you can see your very first loop here. That nice big loop at the back. So I'm simply going to just insert my hook under that loop there. Again, I'm right-handed, so I'm going from right to left. Yarn around the hook just as you've been doing and pull through. That's your second stitch there. Keep the work onto the reverse so you can see your next part there is that vertical loop here. We're working on the back of the work. That's stitch number 3. And you're going to keep doing this. You're going to work across the row like this, always picking up the back vertical loop behind your stitches. If you lose track of them, simply pull on these boxes. It makes it easier for you to see. Once you see the front, just flip, and then you'll be able to see the one at the back. So you just go under it. There should only be one strand on your hook. Yarn around and pull up a loop. And again, yarn around and pull up a loop. Make sure you don't miss any. You should see to keep you right. You should see that every time you've got a loop on your hook, it should be right above the front bar on the front bar here that you can see. This one here is the front bar. You've picked up the back bar of that and pulled up a loop. These belong together. If you miss one, if I miss one on purpose, so I'm not going to work to the back of this one, but I'm going to miss this one here, you're going to see it, because one, you're going to end up with a much bigger gap between your stitches there, but you're also going to have one vertical strand here that is missing a stitch. This one belongs to this vertical strand. and this one doesn't have one. So that should hopefully keep you right. Make sure you take your time, especially on the first row of reverse stitch. So just keep going all the way to the end. So again, this is why we make sure that we don't work tight when we work a return pass, so that it's easy for us to see our stitches. So work through the back. Oops. So I have got one here, and then you'll come to the last one. When you come to the last one, so you can see we're here, and this here, this very last one, you can see we've got a vertical strand at the front, and we obviously have its twin at the back there. So for the very end stitch, and we'll do that for for all the other stitches, you go through the vertical loop at the back, but you also then put through the one at the front. You basically take both of them only for the end stitch. It just gives you a nicer edge at the end. You should only have these two strands there. That's the back one, that's the front one. Yarn around and pull through both of these just for your last stitch. It gives you a nicer end stitch here. Again, check that you've got the number of stitches that you had at the start. You've not lost any. Once you're happy that you've got all your stitches that you need, we're going to work the return pass just as you've done it before for the setup row. Always the same, yarn around and go through one only. And now it's going to be yarn around and go through two all the way, and make sure every time you pull up a loop, you go through two, excuse me, you just pull your hook away a little bit. So go through two and pull. This guarantees that you'll be able to see the boxes of your return pass. You'll see them much better for the start of your next row. It makes these boxes looser. So go through two, go through two, through two, and again all the way to the end. And you have now done your first row of reverse stitch. It is right in here. This was your sort of cast on edge, that was the setup row, and this row here, that lovely row, is your first row of reverse stitch. Now in the pattern you need to repeat this 3 times to keep track of how many you've done. You can just simply count them. I'll show you on this sample here how to count them. You've got the edge there, that's the cast on edge, and then simply count those little knobbly sort of bits there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the first row, and then I've repeated it 3 times. That will keep you right. You'll know how many you've done. So work the remaining rows of your hem, work the return pass, and join us in part 3 when we start the colour work.